Okay, so the question here, there's a block of mass capital M which can slide without friction on a horizontal surface. A small block of mass small m is suspended by a inextensible string from a fixed hanger at the top of a vertical pole mounted on the block. Okay, so there's a vertical pole which is mounted on the block, on the top of which there is a hanger, from which there is a particle of mass m which is suspended with the help of a string of length. Okay, the mass can swing freely in vertical plane. The mass m is released from the horizontal position, as you can see in the diagram. So we have to find the maximum tension in the string during its subsequent motion. You can also add one more question to this, what is given, what is shown in front of you. Like anyway, you are going to find the maximum tension in the string during subsequent motion. Also find how tension in the string varies as a function of theta, where theta is angle between the string and the vertical. Theta is initially pi by 2, okay, because the particle is released from the position where theta is pi by 2. So at any general theta, determine the expression for tension.
So tension at a general theta is, I'll tell procedures. I'm getting it very late.
Yeah.
Sir, first we can find what will be the velocity at some general theta, sir.
Velocity at general theta, okay?
Yes, sir. For velocity, we can take Vx and Vy as the velocities of small m, sir.
Okay.
And Vx is then velocity of capital M will be mvx by capital M in opposite direction.
Okay.
Then also the particle should be performing circular motion in reference frame of M.
Okay.
So its velocity should be tangential in reference frame of capital M.
Okay.
So Vy by Vx into 1 plus small m by capital M will be tan theta. So we know one relation between Vy and Vx. Then energy equation gives us Vx at some general instant.
Okay.
And then finally, now we know Vx, so we know velocity of particle in reference frame of capital M.
Okay.
Then we can find force equations and again use that particle is performing circular motion in reference frame of capital M. Using also taking pseudo force due because they're taking reference frame of capital
M. Okay. So pseudo force, like you have to consider like force equations for the block, bigger block also.
Yes, sir. Yes. That will be only one force is there in horizontal direction.
Okay.
And it does not have any acceleration in vertical.
That equation we will write on the block, bigger block, for the bigger block, that will involve the acceleration of bigger block.
Yes, sir.
Because you will need that for taking pseudo force.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that will also have one tension term, and in reference frame of capital M, there will be already one tension.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
but Vx only, it's very bad term.
So from the expression of tension that you are getting, are you able to conclude where the tension will be maximum?
Sir, without that, I'm thinking it should be at vertically down position.
No, that's like intuitively, like you can say that it should be at the lowest position. Because like anybody like who is thinking intuitively, he will consider that at lowest position tension will be maximum. But can you confirm the same from the expression you're getting?
A very bad expression. I'll check once.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, what force is acting on capital M in the horizontal direction, sir?
The capital M is experiencing tension force, component of tension.
But that, oh, okay. So on the rod, it's experiencing tension.
No, the string will exert a force. The tension will develop in the string. That string, because that vertical rod or vertical pole is attached to the bigger block. It is clamped onto the bigger block.
So that O and that point on the top is that horizontal, sir?
Yes, it's horizontal.
Oh.
See, it's actually a three-dimensional diagram. I mean, it's looking like it's an angle. Okay? It's you can say that the hanger is perpendicular to the vertical pole.
Yes.
So mostly it should be theta equal to 0 because tan theta is, there is a term of tan theta in denominator, sir. It's rather tan square theta.
Okay.
So now minimum
maximum is possible if theta is 0.
Sir, one more reason we can say, no, sir.
Yes.
Sir, the velocity of the mass at the lowest position would be in opposite direction as the velocity of capital M at that instant, no, sir?
Yes.
So relative velocity will be like higher in magnitude in the same direction. So there should be more force.
Relative velocity will be higher.
And so relative velocity square will be also.
How can we compare that relative velocity will be higher?
Because if velocity of mass m at the lowest position is v, then of capital M is small m v by capital M, sir, by moment of conservation in the opposite direction. So if its relative velocity will be 1 plus small m by capital M into v, so that is maximum at the bottommost point of sir.
Okay.
Sir, so how are we confirming that? That's I didn't get his point.
Okay, how are we confirming that it is maximum at lowest position?
Yes,
Okay,
sir. We always have some Vy velocity in downward direction. So magnitude wise, we may have more velocity.
Yeah.
we
Yeah, that is one point actually. Like, how do we conclude that it should be maximum at lowest position only?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, if we write force equations, like if I want to find V relative, sir,
Mhm.
and if I use a work energy equation in the frame of the capital M,
Okay.
pseudo force will do work now, sir. Like pseudo force will act in a horizontal direction towards left. If you assume
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. Pseudo force, but pseudo force will not be constant.
Yes, sir. So we have to take integration of m into small m into pseudo acceleration into dx, no, sir. Like
Yes, yes.
at dx, what can we substitute, sir? In the frame.
Dx, you can substitute that as your length of the string is L, no?
Yes, sir.
So you can take x distance, horizontal distance from the vertical, you can consider it as L sine theta. So differential of L sine theta will be dx.
The theta is like angle with vertical, sir, which you took.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so let us take a look at like how we'll generally approach this problem. Like say we have a block and here there's a hanger and this particle is free to move this way about this point. So relative to this point O, I'm calling this point as O here. The point O refers to the point of suspension of the string. So about the point of suspension of string, the particle will move in vertical plane and it will move in a vertical circular motion. Okay, about this point O. But point O moves along with the block. So the block and this point O, they move together in the common velocity and acceleration. Okay. So we can simply say that the particle has circular motion with respect to point O. And the radius of the circular motion will be there. Okay, so let us take a general case and we'll see how to determine the tension at any general theta. And then when you get that expression, I think you can also conclude very easily that where the tension could be possibly maximum. Okay, here we can say that by the time it moves to this position, from work energy theorem, we can find out the velocities. So we'll take two like expressions here. I'll consider velocity of this block as Vm and relative velocity of this small mass as V real. Okay, relative velocity of the small mass I'll take as V relative. V relative is directed tangentially and it is directed downwards. Okay, so you can say here for work energy like the theorem, we'll use it in ground reference frame only because in ground reference frame only gravity is the only force which will do work. Tension is not going to do any work. So gravity work done will be, it will be mg into L cos theta. Because vertical displacement will be this distance, which will be L cos theta. So this mg L cos theta, which is the work done by gravity, should be equal to change in kinetic energy. That will be equal to half m into Vm square plus half m into Vx square plus Vx. Now, what are Vx and Vy here? Vx and Vy are components of velocity of small mass in the ground reference frame in horizontal and vertical directions. Okay. So we can separately find what are Vx and Vy here. Now Vx we can consider as Vx is basically it is the relative velocities x component and the velocity of the block we have to add. That is, we can say it is nothing but velocity of small m relative to capital M in x direction plus velocity of capital M in x direction. It should be Vx. Okay. Now velocity of small m with respect to capital M in the x direction that should come out to be equal to v relative cos theta. Okay. That should come out to be equal to v relative cos theta because this angle is theta. That angle is also theta. So v relative cos theta. And velocity of capital M in the x direction is minus Vm because it's in opposite direction. Right? Like minus. So this should be Vx. Okay. And Vy, of course, you can find Vy will be v relative sin theta. Because in y direction, this block doesn't have any velocity. So therefore, whatever is the relative velocity of small mass in y direction, that should also be velocity of small mass with respect to ground. So I am simply taking that v relative sin theta. So these expressions we can put in this equation. Then your equation will become mgl cos theta. That's equal to half m Vm square plus half small m into v relative cos theta minus Vm whole square plus half m into v relative sin theta. Okay, so this is one equation. We can also use momentum conservation for the whole system in the horizontal direction because in the horizontal direction there are no external forces. So therefore, momentum of the system along horizontal also will be conserved. Okay, so if I am going to use momentum conservation along horizontal, then we can say that capital M because initial momentum is 0. Initial momentum in x direction is 0. So that initial momentum we can equate to capital M into Vm. Okay, capital M into Vm minus, we can say it is small m into v relative cos theta minus Vm minus capital M into. This should be 0. This quantity will come out to be 0. So from this equation, it turns out that small m into v relative cos theta will be equal to small m plus capital M into Vm. Okay, small m plus capital M into Vm. Okay, so what we can do is like we can like write Vm as m by m plus m into v relative cos theta. Okay, this Vm we can substitute in this above equation. So if I substitute this Vm in this above equation, then I will get an expression only in v relative. So we can determine what is v relative, and you can determine what is velocity of the small mass relative to the point. Okay, by substituting this expression. Okay, so let's just substitute the expression or we'll get. Okay, so substituting this here gives you mgl cos theta. Mgl cos theta that is equal to half m minus half m into Vm square. Vm square plus half m v relative square into cos square theta. Okay, and then we get minus m into v relative into Vm into cos theta. Okay. And then we get half m v relative square sin square. Okay, so this is also same as half m. You can consider half m, and this Vm square you can add as m by m.
Sir, I think it should be capital M.
Capital M.
It's capital M. So it is half into capital M into m by m plus n whole square into v relative square plus half m into v relative square cos theta. And then we have m v relative minus m v relative cos theta into Vm will come out to be equal to m by m plus n into v relative cos theta. And the last term is half m into v relative square sin square theta. Okay. But we can see here that half m into v relative square cos square theta and half m into v relative square sin square theta will add up to give you half m into v relative square. Okay. And then you will have one more term here which is equal to m square into v relative square into cos square theta into by m plus. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, when you were substituting VM value in the first term, sir, like shouldn't there be a cos square theta over there, sir?
Vm value is yeah, it should be like a cos square theta. You're talking about this particular case?
No, sir, the earlier term, sir. This term,
Earlier
first,
term.
yes, sir.
Yes, cos square theta should be there here. Correct. Cos square theta also should be there. So it will be half m into small m by m plus m whole square into v relative square cos square theta. And these two terms will add up to give you half m into v relative square. So it will be half into v relative square. Okay. Into you will have m square by m plus m whole square cos square theta. Okay. And then we will have this is m plus m because these two terms they add up to give you plus m. And then here we have minus this is m square by m plus m cos square. Right. So I think we are getting m square by m plus m cos square theta, and here we are getting m square by m plus m whole square into cos square theta. Okay. And so this is the expression we get here. So you can take this is also same as half into v relative square into m square cos square theta, m square by m plus m into cos square theta into 1 plus m square by m plus m into cos square theta into m by m plus m. Okay. Plus here we get m. Okay. So this is the expression we get here. Okay. So it is m square by m plus m into cos square theta into 1 plus m by m plus m plus small. Okay. Into half into v relative square.
So m by
then
minus 1.
Yes. Minus
1 plus m by m.
Minus 1. Yeah, minus, yes, minus. Okay. Minus 1 minus you will get minus 1. Okay. So it comes out to be m plus m minus m by m plus m. So, okay. M plus m. So this is going to be half into a relative square.
So the other way, minus 1 plus.
Okay. M plus m minus 1.
Minus 1.
M plus m. M by m plus m minus 1. Okay. This is it. So this is going to give you like m minus of that is minus m by m plus m. Okay. Minus m by m plus m into m square by m plus m cos square theta Okay, plus. Okay, so that's the expression for here. This is equal to MGL cost. This is equal to MGL cost. So this M will get cancelled. Okay, so once we get expression for V relative like this, then what can we do next here is, because we want to find the tension, because so for finding tension V relative will be used. Okay, so what we can then do,
Sir,
yes,
sir, like I found V relative in a different way, sir. Like I used work energy theorem in the reference frame, sir.
okay,
So directly we'll get V relative there, no, sir. Like we can say MGL sin theta plus integration of MAP dx.
okay,
This will be half into small m into V relative square, no, sir.
half into small m into V relative square.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
That AP we can take as T cos theta by m or T sin theta by m according to the theta which we take.
No, I didn't follow actually. What are you saying? You take MGL cos theta equal to?
MGL sin, like theta I'm taking with horizontal, sir.
Okay.
So MGL sin theta plus integral MAP dx. That will be half m into V relative square, no, sir.
Half m into V relative square. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So can we say like AP we can write as T cos theta by m. Capital
T cos theta by m. Okay.
Capital M.
Okay.
Now we can we'll have cos theta dx, no, sir.
Cos theta dx. Yeah.
The dx we can write as d of L sin L cos theta.
Okay.
That will be L into minus sin theta d theta.
Okay.
If we integrate, we'll get 1 minus cos square.
But for integrating, you should know T also, no? For integrating.
Sir, I'll. Okay, so.
No, without knowing T, your T is also a variable, no? It's not constant.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so after finding V relative here, what we can then do is we'll use force equation in the reference frame of this. But before we write force equation, we should write one force equation for block also. We'll get a force equation for block if the tension is acting this way. For the block, we can say tension will be acting this way at an angle theta. So tension's horizontal component is important here. So T sin theta will be equal to M into AM. Okay. So when you're going to write force equation for small mass in the reference frame of the bigger mass, we have to use a pseudo force also, and the pseudo force will depend on this axis because this is the acceleration of the reference frame. Okay. So in M reference, the force equation on small m mass will be mg cos theta. Tension force is there, and pseudo force will act this way because acceleration of block is towards right, so pseudo force should be towards left. So it should be m into m. Okay. So pseudo force's component along the string will be m am into sin theta. Okay, m am into sin theta, which is pseudo force component, which will be this way. So we can't balance forces along the string here. I'm not going to balance the forces along the string here, but what I can say is that net force acting on the particle along the string, that should be equal to mass of the particle into its centripetal acceleration, because the particle is undergoing circular motion in the reference. Okay. So therefore, just to say, okay. So from this we can just conclude that it is T plus m am sin theta minus mg cos theta equal to m into v relative square by L. Okay, but am we can write as t sin theta by capital. Am is t sin theta by capital, so it is t plus m sin theta into t sin theta by capital. Okay, minus mg cos theta, which is equal to m into v relative square. Okay, so you will get t into 1 plus m by m sin square theta. Okay, t into 1 plus m by m sin square theta equal to it will be mg cos theta plus m v relative square. Okay, so that's the expression like we get here. Okay, and in place of v relative square we have this expression. Okay. We have this expression in place of v relative square. So this expression we can use here. Okay, so what you will have is mg cos theta plus m by l into this expression. So here v relative square will come out to be equal to gl cos theta all divided by the expression we have here, which is 1 minus m square by n plus m whole square into cos theta. Okay, that expression we can like use here. Okay, and then you get expression for tension. Okay, so general expression for tension at any general theta we can find. Okay, now how do we come to a conclusion about like angle theta where tension will be maximum? Can we say from the expression that we are getting here, tension that we are getting here, that tension should be maximum at the lowest position only?
Here, that 1 plus small m by capital M sin square theta will be minimum for theta equal to 0.
Yes, this quantity will be like no, it's not 1 plus, it's 1 minus actually.
Sir, no sir, in the above equation sir, where t into 1 plus.
Yes, this will be minimum when theta equal to 0. Correct.
Yes sir, and v relative square will be max.
Denominator.
Yes sir, and v relative square will be maximum for theta equal to 0 again.
For theta equal to 0, v relative square will be maximum. Yes, can we say that for theta equal to 0, v relative will be maximum from the expression?
Yes.
Yes, because the denominator will be maximum. Denominator will be minimum for theta equal to 0, and the numerator will be maximum for theta equal to 0. So that way, one can definitely say that like theta equal to 0 is actually clearly going to cause maximum for v relative. So v relative will be maximum at theta equal to 0, and the quantity which will come in the denominator in the expression for tension is this expression. So this expression will have a minimum value for theta. So therefore, definitely one can say that tension should be maximum for theta equal to 0. And once we got the expression for tension at any general theta, we just have to substitute theta in this. You can get the maximum value of tension. Okay. In fact, in doing all this, like there is one more thing that we could have found out in case like if we ever required it to find it out. Like although it was not asking the question, but suppose you want to find acceleration of this block at any general theta. We can do that because in the process, like we already got an equation for acceleration of the block. Acceleration of block was t sin theta by capital. So once we get tension expression, then you can find acceleration of the block. Is it clear? Any doubts in this? Okay, so here's the next question. So there are three identical small masses resting on a frictionless horizontal like fork. You can say three identical small spheres, okay, or small balls which are resting on a frictionless horizontal fork. One of them is given a velocity. It collides like successively with the other two masses, okay, and then continues to move in the same original direction with half of its initial velocity. Okay, all the collisions can be assumed to be perfectly elastic. Okay, assume that the horizontal floor is along the xy plane, and the initial velocity is given to the mass in the positive x direction. Okay, so then we need to find velocities v2 bar and v3 bar of the other two masses after the collisions. We need to find velocities v2 bar and v3 bar of the other two masses after the collision.
Initial velocity, like they have only mentioned about its value becoming half, but they have not been the value of the velocity.
Okay, let us suppose that one of the mass which is given a velocity, it is given a velocity v naught in the x direction.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay, value is not given. Let us take it to be v naught. Okay, v naught in x direction.
Yes.
Okay, so v2 bar and v3 bar we have to determine in terms of v.
Okay, yes, sir. It is mentioned on this. I didn't check that, sir. In the like
The third last not mentioned. Okay.
In the third line, it is third last line is mentioned. Is u in the positive direction?
Sir, collide successively means it collides with two of the balls at once, or first it collides with the first ball, then with the second ball?
Collide successfully means, let's say the particle after it's given initial velocity, it collides with one second particle, then it collides with third particle, and then moves.
Oh, like it's not colliding together with the two particles.
No. Successively it is given. No, successively means one after the other.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Not simultaneously.
Okay.
Sir, V0 by 2 and V0 by root 2.
V naught by 2 and V naught by root 2.
Yes.
Sir, are these balls very small, sir?
Yeah, very small.
Sir, so they can't collide at an angle, no, sir? It should be straight line only.
They can?
They cannot collide at an angle, no, sir? Like.
No, nothing is mentioned as such. You can consider all possibilities.
Sir, if it is in a straight line, it's not possible, sir.
Okay, why not possible in straight line?
They should have same velocity.
Because some mass should come to rest, sir, finally.
Okay.
If all the three are in a straight line.
The collisions cannot be perfect, cannot be head on, sir.
But if one body is in front of the first mass and the other is behind the first mass, then it's not possible.
Then second collision won't take place.
So because the first one will come to rest.
Okay, yeah.
Sir, does it matter whether the collisions are happening successively or simultaneously?
No, it's given that they are happening successively.
Yes,
The
sir, but
question we give successively.
yes, sir, but I mean, will there be a difference in the answers?
Like simultaneously, like two particles it is colliding, then but there would be a different situation, not exactly like what we are seeing here, because there is a possibility that velocity can be half after
Okay.
colliding simultaneously with two bodies. The two bodies will be moving symmetrically if the collision takes place simultaneously.
Yes.
If the masses are identical, then the two bodies which are like experiencing, if the collision is taking place simultaneously, then you can also say that the bodies will move at angles of 60 degrees each.
Yes, sir. That's what I was thinking, sir. Like without solving only, we will say that directly. But
Yeah.
we need to check if it is successful or simultaneous. Sir, we can at least say that it will collide both of them at the same angle, no, sir?
Angle colliding at same angle means?
No, sir, no, sir. And I was thinking like the angle at which line joining centers is inclined to horizontal, sir.
Okay, angle that line joining centers makes with the
Horizontal.
Horizontal means initial direction of motion, you're saying?
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah, that could be same. Possibility is there. But how can you be so sure about that?
No, sir, that's what, sir. I thought it would be same. It need not be same, sir. Because I thought both impulses should
There's
have.
a possibility of that. You can't rule out there's a possibility of that.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I got the velocity of both the balls to be root 3 by 2 root 2 V naught, sir.
Root 3 by 2 root 2 V naught. Okay.
Yes.
Sir, root 3 by 2, root 2 V naught is basically the same velocity which we get for successive collision, like simultaneous collision.
Okay. Simultaneous collision, you are getting root 3 by 2 root 2 V naught.
Yes.
No, sir, some mistake here.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
first mass velocity is V naught by root 2.
Okay. First mass
And second
will have
mass is
velocity
V
of-
naught by 2.
No, first mass will be V naught by 2.
Oh,
only,
sorry,
because
V2 and V3.
Acha, V2 and V3 you're telling.
No, I'm talking about V2 and V2 is V naught by root 2, sir.
Okay.
V3 is V naught by 2, sir.
V3 is V naught by 2.
Method I considered yes, sir. Suppose initially the line of collision is making some theta with the direction of velocity of first ball, sir.
Okay.
I assume that then finally that second ball will gain velocity of v cos theta and the other ball will be moving with v sin theta, no, sir.
Yes, yes.
So
Yes,
V2 will become V cos theta
Okay.
and V1 will become V sin theta. After
Okay.
that, I considered again it is colliding with the third ball,
Okay.
making an angle alpha.
Okay.
Then I use the condition that final velocity should be along horizontal direction,
Okay. Final velocity should be along horizontal.
along
direction.
positive.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So again, the perpendicular component should component perpendicular to body of motion should be the final velocity of the initial ball, no, sir, which has the velocity.
Okay.
Using that condition, again I got alpha equals to theta, sir.
Okay. Alpha equal to theta you get.
Yes, sir. Based on that, I got theta is 45, sir, in both the cases.
Okay. Theta is 45.
They are colliding at making 45 degrees with the body, like line of motion, sir.
Okay.
Then I got like based on that I calculated the value velocity, sir. I got both of them, V naught by root 2 and V naught by
2. V naught by 2 and V naught by root 2. I think the other way around is also possible. I think V2 can be V naught by 2 and V3 can be V naught by root 2 also.
one side. Yes, sir. Because if you consider which is colliding first and which is colliding second.
As 2 and 3.
Yes,
It
sir.
can be either way.
Yes.
Okay. Let us just take a general like a case of elastic collision. If the collision is taking place in an oblique angle between two identical masses, and if the collision is elastic. Okay. So if I am having one body of mass in and another body of mass in moving like this with V naught velocity, and if a collision is taking place in such a way that line joining centers of both these masses, it makes an angle of theta with the initial direction. Okay, one thing we can definitely say that initial velocity V naught we can resolve into normal component and tangential component. Normal component for initial velocity will be V naught first. This is UL. Okay, and tangential component will be this way. Okay, it will be this way. V naught sin. Okay, so these two components like we can consider V naught cos theta and V naught sin theta. These are two components of velocity we'll get. In fact, it's this way. V naught cos and V naught. So the tangential component will not change. So this is also same as Vt. It will remain the same for the two bodies as the collision is elastic also. So only thing is normal components will change. So for normal components, since it's an elastic collision, I think we can say that normal components will get interchanged after the collision. Okay, you can actually show that by using the momentum conservation along the normal and by using the equation of restitution. Okay, so if you use momentum conservation along normal, we can simply say that it is m into v naught cos theta. That should be equal to m into let us say final velocity of this in the normal direction is v1n, and this is v2. This is v1n and this is v2. Okay, so we get this as m v1n plus m v2n. So this gives you v naught cos theta is equal to v1n plus v2n, and equation of restitution will be v1n minus v2n is equal to v. Okay, from equation of restitution we get this v1n minus v2n is equal to v naught. Okay, so this condition and this equation, both of these equations, like if they are used like v naught cos nothing, because initial velocity along normal is v naught. So this is from equation of restitution, and this equation is get from like momentum conservation. So if both the equations are used, you will end up getting v1n is equal to v naught cos theta, and v2n will come out to be 0. So what does it mean? You can conclude that after the collision, this mass has 0 normal velocity and it has tangential velocity, whereas the second mass, or the mass which was initially at rest, will move along this way. Okay, so here one thing is clear: if it's having only tangential velocity, if this mass has only tangential velocity and this mass has only normal velocity, which means angle between the two vectors, velocity of the two vectors will be like 90. Angle between velocity vectors for these two masses should be 90 degrees. Okay, so this is one thing we can in general conclude for elastic collision between two bodies of same masses. It doesn't matter where the collision takes place. It doesn't matter what angle line of impact makes with the original direction. But angle between their velocity vectors will be 90 degrees after collision. That is something we can confirm. Okay, we are going to use this. Okay, in the later part of this question. Okay, so what we can now do is that here it's given that a body collides with two other identical masses, and after two collisions, it moves in the same direction. So let us suppose that this is the first mass. It collides with the second mass. With the initial velocity u. The initial velocity u, it collides with the second mass, and after collision with second mass, it moves like this, and the second mass moves. The angle between these two vectors must be 90. Okay. Now let us suppose that this angle is theta. Or you can even take this angle as theta also. Doesn't matter. Okay. Then this should be 90 minutes. Okay. So after collision, the first mass moves at 90 minus theta angle. Now then it undergoes collision with another, a third mass. Third mass is over here. Third mass is here. And after collision with third mass, this first mass is supposed to move like this. Right? The first mass will be supposed to move this way. Okay. So you can see one thing which is very clear. After the first collision, the mass got deviated. The first mass got deviated by an angle of 90 minus theta, correct? And after the next collision also, it is once again getting deviated by an angle of 90 minus theta. Okay? Because then only we can say that initial and final velocities are parallel. Then only we can say initial and final velocities are parallel. Otherwise, initial and final velocities are not going to be parallel. Okay, so this is 90 minus theta. Then even this should be 90. So that means what we can conclude here is that this collision and this collision are identical type of collisions, which means that the deviation that the first mass is suffering in every collision is the same. Okay, and moreover, you also know that velocity angle between the velocities of two bodies after the collision should be 90. which means this third mass must be moving like this. Third mass must be moving at 90-degree angle with the final velocity of the first mass. So that means if this is your x direction, the third mass must have final velocity in y direction. Okay, whatever its velocity may be, but it should have velocity in y. That we can. Okay.
In V2 x component, we can find acceleration.
Yeah. So now what we'll do is we'll use momentum conservation in x direction. If I'm going to use momentum conservation in x direction, okay. Let's suppose that this mass is having some velocity in x direction. I'll call this as v2x and v2y. Okay, v2x and v2y are velocity components for x and y directions for this mass, and this has a velocity of v3, v3y. Okay, velocity of this mass is v3y. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll use momentum conservation for whole system in x direction. Okay, momentum conservation for whole system we can use x direction. Then initial momentum in x direction was mv naught, or it was mu. So mu must be equal to mu by 2. Okay, mu by 2 is velocity of this first mass after all the collisions, and this third mass doesn't have any velocity in x direction, and only second mass has velocity in x direction. So I can take m into v2x. I think from this equation, it's very easy for you to say that v2x should also be u by 2. v2x should definitely be equal to u by 2. That's something which we can say from this. Okay, and another thing we'll also be able to say is that v2y and v3y must be equal, because in y direction also momentum should be conserved. So we can say v2y must be equal to v by using momentum conservation. Now we can use energy conservation for the system as well. The total kinetic energy initial should be equal to total kinetic energy final, which means that half m u square should be equal to half m into u by 2 whole square plus half into m into it is v2x whole square plus half m into v2y whole square plus half m into v3y. This is the equation you get. But you know, v2x is the same as u by 2. v2x is the same as u by 2. So we just get half m u square is equal to, this is half, it is 1 by 4 into half m u square. And here also we get 1 by 4 into half m u square. Because v2x is also same as u by 2. And then we get half m into v2y square plus v3. Okay, so this is 1 by 4 or half m square. This is 1 by 4 or half m square. So this quantity, this whole quantity, should be equal to half of half m square. Should be equal to half of m. That is, I can say half m into v2y square plus v3y square should be equal to half of half. But then we know v2y and v3y are equal. v2y and v3y are equal, which means we can also say from this expression that half m, or from this we can simply say v2y must be equal to v3y should be equal to. Okay. This equation can be satisfied only if v2y and v3y are equal to. So we can therefore say v2y is also u by 2 and v3y also. Okay. So what we can conclude here is that second body is having two components of velocity. Both the components of velocity are same on, and they are u by 2 and u by 2. And the third body is having only one component of velocity, the y component, and that is only u by 2. So therefore, that the second and third bodies we can say v2 bar will be equal to u by 2 I cap minus u by 2 j, and v3 bar will come out to equal to u by 2 j. Okay, so if you want to know what is magnitude of velocity, we can simply say that should be u by 2 into root 2. Velocity of 2 will be u by 2 into root 2, and for 3 it will be u by 2 only. Okay, So this is one possibility I have considered. There are other possibilities also. Now it is possible, instead of deviating this way, the first body may deviate this way. It may deviate towards a negative y direction, and then it may straighten after another collision. In those cases, your final velocity vectors will be different, but magnitudes will still be same. The magnitude of v2 and v3 will still come out to be like one of them will be u by 2, other will be u by 2 into root. Is it, yeah? Any doubts in this? Okay, right. So we will like meet in the next session then. Right. So we'll end it here for today.